got a lot of things, including some of those deals over Fanatics on your mind. But what precisely do you have in store for this installment of What's on Drew's Mind?
Hmm. Well, Mr. BJ, this time on What's on Drew's Mind, we're talking about the best sports games that you've seen live on TV. Ha! You thought
Live
I
on
was
TV? Wait a
live
minute.
on
That
TV.
I was just say
Live
that
on
seems a
TV.
little different.
Live in action on TV. right.
I was gonna say there's a difference. I feel like Drew.
But hey, I felt like I was there. I felt like I was there.
What if you were there though? But that's what my question. Like, is this
I might
live
have had better
or
views at home on TV than the tickets I would have been able to not afford going to said game.
that is true. There are some times where it feels like you do get a better view at home than you would at the event. But I can tell you the last time that I've been to a game where I didn't feel like I didn't at least have a good enough seat that maybe I missed a little bit from the TV perspective, but I was okay with the perspective that I had live.
Anyway, watching sports live on TV. BJ, we've been sports fans our whole lives. We've
Yeah.
seen a lot of sports. We're getting kind of old now, so we've seen a lot of sports.
Well, you could have talked all day and not called us old, Drew. Appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah, I know. Somebody was thinking it, but you guys are old. Of course, you've seen a lot of sports.
Well,
Duh.
why are you in
You
my
said
head?
you
Get out of my
graduated
head.
10 years ago.
Shut WI.
Ah.
Ugh, ugh.
But of all these sports that you've seen on TV, BJ, and this is one of these times where what's on Drew's mind is kind of picking your brain a little bit and just kind of having you
Mhm.
participate in this is, do you have any standout sports games? And if not in basketball that stand out to you, I'll let you explore, but I want you to try to do basketball. I've got a top three that stand out to me. I'm probably just gonna go with two of them though, because they're the most surefire. So a top two, we'll go with the top two. A
Okay.
top two that stand out to me from basketball that are just some of the best games that I've seen on TV
Mhm.
in the postseason.
Okay.
It can also not be in the postseason, but
All right.
mainly these mostly happens in the postseason.
Okay.
So I was just wondering on your end, what have you seen live on TV or on TV if you don't want me to say live?
I was gonna say because
It's still live action. You're just
I've
watching it
got
on
two
TV.
very different answers because the best thing I've seen live, I was actually there in person.
Well, we're not
If,
doing that one. We're
okay.
talking
All right.
TV only. You didn't
Well,
get to be
well,
there. You just
no.
watched it.
Well, dang it, Drew, because I've seen some pretty cool things like actually in person, but I mean, I tell you what, that's I guess that's for another time, I guess. But
Okay.
uh, the first thing that popped in my mind, like one of if not the best basketball games that I've seen in the postseason on TV that I felt like I was there live for. I feel like this is probably on your list too.
Mm,
Was the Game Seven of the 2016 NBA Finals? That
mm.
just especially the last few minutes sequence of that, it was just crazy, and I think
You been looking at my
ultimately,
notes or something?
no, I that's
Oh.
why I said I figured it's on your
Mm,
list,
it is.
but I think that it's just, I mean, you go back and watch that game, and it still holds up now. As not much has changed obviously around the league, but it still feels like it was so long ago, even though it wasn't.
Yeah.
Um, but it was just a really good basketball game, especially the
Yep.
last 5 minutes. I mean the entirety of the Mavs finals run, I was watching that on TV, and so I feel like that game two win where you silence the crowd with that comeback, the epic comeback in Miami, down what like 14 or 12 or something like that, with like 6 minutes to go, 7 minutes to go, and then Dirk hitting that spinning layup that he him doing that in Miami was very reminiscent of what he did in San Antonio in overtime in '06 that got the Mavs out of the second round into that conference finals against Phoenix. I mean, that's some of my core like playoff memories is I remember just great Mavericks basketball games. But I was trying to, give you something else that wasn't just Mavericks oriented. Um,
Great choices.
Man, trying to think. I feel like the one of the games that LeBron and and oh gosh, this is gonna my brain. Come on, work with me, D Rose, LeBron and D Rose. I feel like those games that they played against each other were really close, competitive, and came down. And it was like, man, that was a really good basketball game.
But if you had to pick two,
All right.
does that LeBron one make the list?
The LeBron in Game 7 of the 16 Finals for sure makes the list, and I think
Okay.
I'll go with Game 2 of the 2011 NBA Finals as my
Okay.
second choice.
That's a nice.
Especially, yeah, especially with it being the what would come out of that, and instead of the heartbreak that we saw after the first two games of the '06 Finals.
Yep.
That was a really good basketball game, and the team I wanted to win came out on top. So,
Yeah. Definitely good ones, Beach. And I'm right there alongside you with, of course, 2016 NBA Finals Game 7. Just
mhm.
probably the best last few minutes of finals, especially at Game 7, that we'll ever see, at least in a very long time. It's just an incredible sequence after the phenomenal comeback.
Yeah.
It's literally a core memory in my head of
I don't.
watching it.
I was gonna say I feel like that's a core memory of the show because I mean
Oh man.
there's just how you are, and even for me, like not having a rooting interest in that series, I just remember watching that game and just kind of being taken aback because like I mean I'm not a LeBron fan. I'm not a LeBron hater or anything like that. But I wasn't cheering for him. I thought it would be pretty cool if the Warriors had won it because they were 73-9. I didn't care beyond that, but I just want to see a good basketball game. And boy, did we get one!
Yeah, tell me about it. And another one that sticks out for me, and this will probably pop up in your head once I read this out, but
Okay.
the 2013 NBA Finals Game
Ah,
6.
yeah, yep. I knew exactly
And
when you said
Antonio
2013.
came out with the ropes thinking it was it, ready to just pop the champagne and hand the trophy, the Finals MVP over. Spurs got it. But Ray Allen came to the rescue. A combination of players came to the rescue. LeBron's like streak of points to even get them there brought that whole thing about. Then he just missed the three to bring it all together. It was almost a mini run of what he did back in like 2009 to the Pistons, where he had 25 straight. He
Yeah,
had like
crazy.
I don't know 13 or like double digit points of that last sequence. I can't give you the exact numbers, but he was a big part of how that even
Yeah.
got close in Game 6 to come back. And then
Hmm.
Chris Bosh, another hero, to get the offensive rebound and to
And
find
take it
Ray
back out to
Allen,
Allen.
and Ray Allen to knock it down and
And
help
to
them
keep
win Game 6
and keep both feet in bounds. I mean, that was a
and
really
behind the
tight corner.
line.
Yeah, behind the
Yeah.
line. I mean, when you said 2013, I knew exactly that was the game you were going to say.
Mm-hmm.
And
Iconic.
I just think about what the possibilities of if LeBron had stayed in Cleveland and instead of going to Miami, what would it have looked like? Would Ray Allen have been in that spot in 2013 if it weren't for LeBron and
Oh
ring
no, definitely
chasing?
not.
Oh no, I can't imagine that it would be. Would Miami have won the 2012 title against Oklahoma City if without LeBron? Probably not.
Nah,
And
Miami's not in scenarios without LeBron.
yeah, I don't think they would have even been there in 13 against San Antonio in that game 6. They probably, if they even made the finals, would have lost, in 5, I would think, because that
And,
Spurs team it felt like was the better team, and then they went out there with revenge on their mind the next year and just laid a thumping down. I tell you what.
And you mentioned the 2011 Mavs and
Hmm.
that game too. I mean, that's not on the list, but I'm just kind of railing off some fantastic games that we've seen on TV. I think
Yeah.
game 1 of the 2018 NBA Finals was fantastic. The end is just one that
Yeah.
just guts you to this day, and that was probably the most stressful game that I had ever watched because it was so good. LeBron had put on such a master class, and then JR did what he did, and like I was just
I remember
so
that.
ultimately stressed
Yeah.
out beyond belief. It was insane. And me being the fan of LeBron James and the Mavericks fan that I am, was stressed out all throughout the 2011 NBA Finals. Like, I mean, I can't lose either way, but this is still
Yeah.
stressful. Like, somebody
What
comes away with their first title here, and somebody doesn't.
you know
So,
what you know what would have been, uh, at least to me, uh, I wouldn't consider this like one of the best games ever played, but one game that I watched on TV and I was like, man, to have been there in that environment to see that game live would have been awesome. It
mhm.
was the game that the Mavericks just went out there and spanked the butt of the Lakers, who were the two-time defending champs, and getting that sweep and winning Game 4 in the fashion they did. It's still called the Mother's Day Massacre around here. That's how like it has its name, and it
Heck,
was
we did it
not even the
again.
finals or anything like that.
We did
What
it
was that?
again last year with the
Yeah,
Mother's Day Massacre. And like what, 23s? And that was
yeah,
crazy. And I saw that one live. I saw that one. I
you
seen
did.
that one.
I
But
think I was gonna say that even though that was Mother's Day Game 4, I didn't think that Massacre was until Game 7, Drew. But that was just me.
and another big time one. I mean, it doesn't make this list, but it's one that sticks out now that I'm thinking about it. It
Hmm.
was game. I want to say game 5 because I think they closed them out in 5. Um, Trailblazers versus OKC. The Damian Lillard shot
Oh
over
yeah,
Paul George to
from
end the
like half
series.
court. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Mm.
one, and the first time he did it from like 40 feet out
Against
against the
Houston.
Rockets, yeah.
Yep.
Because
Big time.
I can still like it's not in my nightmares because it's an awesome iconic call, but I can still hear Mike Tirico's voice in my ear saying it's Lillard, he got the shot off or whatever, and just like the freak out that happens after the shot goes down because there was
Yeah.
like less than a second to go. It was
Yeah.
just
It
that was a
was
crazy
big
one.
time. But my honorable mention that I was going to mention in this 2012 Eastern Conference Finals, Game 6, and LeBron had the look in his eye. Came
That's
back
the look.
against the Boston Celtics.
That's the look. What effectively killed the big three and why Ray
Yes.
Allen was on the Heat the next year.
Yes.
Man,
And that is what's on Drew's mind today. The best sports games that we have seen on TV. I know we would all wish we could see them in person, but there's been some phenomenal games that we've just been elated at watching on TV, and just bringing back up the old memories from those fantastic games were iconic. I remember exactly where I was watching the 2016 Game 7 NBA Finals.